Hello, and welcome to another episode of Stu and the Nunn, an online radio show and podcast focused on national security, policy, politics, and selfless service. We're here to give you an honest opinion, different perspective, and hopefully a few laughs. We do this by not only interviewing guests, but also sharing our own perspectives and asking you, the listener, to interact with us on our chat room, via our Facebook page, and of course, on Twitter. Keep it funky. All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Stu and the Nunn. And tonight we have a special one. If you didn't catch last week's, it was special too with Vincent Rocco Vargas. Definitely go back and check that out. There is a little bit of it's a little adult oriented. There's a few words in it. If some of our listeners know. I got feedback this week, but it's a very good interview. We're definitely going to have him back on, but definitely tonight we have a very special. You see, I got Toby with me, my brother from another motherland, in a totally different motherland. I mean, we are international, like at a whole new level.
Yeah.
What's up,
No,
man?
I am doing my part to keep NAFTA alive. Bad joke, but yeah, no. Normally I'm in the southern studio. Today I'm in the real south.
Super southern.
True south.
Super double
Super
secret.
southern.
Double secret
I guess
southern
if I say
studio.
true south, I probably offended somebody. But
Yeah.
no, I'm down in Mexico right now.
Mexico.
Baja del Sur.
Yeah.
Mexico.
That's right. Working on your
Down
Spanish.
in Cabo San Lucas del Sur.
Yeah.
Baja del Sur.
Yeah.
And learning my Espanol.
Doing some fishing? Doing some fishing down there? Or?
I'm watching a lot of people doing it. That's for sure. That's for sure. But there's definitely some fishing going on. Red Rum Sport Fishing. Love it. So I apologize. The internet connection's not the best. I don't have my big microphone to speak into. So hopefully my levels are solid.
Yeah, you're sounding good, and the internet so far has been actually better than a lot of times it's been when you're in Texas. So nobody else is stealing your bandwidth right now, I guess.
Not yet. Yeah. It's too early.
That's it.
But no.
Kaiser wants to know where your jalapeno cucumber margarita is right now.
It's sitting down at the porch where they make them.
That's it. You got professional radio show to do right now. Now, what are you drinking, a mojito or something? What do you got there?
Topo Chico.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
drinking Topo Chico. nothing,
you got to pace yourself,
special.
man. You're not 20-something. You got to pace yourself. You can't be doing that.
It's not I'm not here to party.
Yeah.
So
much more decoration now than in the studio in Texas. I mean, we got more than a printer behind you.
My little spot here is I dare say overly decorated at times.
Yeah.
But you know, if I ever get flowers, I won't be short on vases. You know, I got that going for me.
Here you go. Well, it's always a man can never have too many vases. I think someone said once. I'm not sure who that would be, but
one of the things I don't have here is a plethora of time to sit around and find out what's going on in the world. So I apologize if I'm a little bit behind. So hit me with
yeah, we got a lot to get into.
What we got,
and get you caught up on stuff.
I'll just give you opinion.
Yeah.
I'll give you opinion.
We got a lot. So, the last couple of weeks we've had some good shows, and we've tried to keep them. If you've noticed, I want to just highlight, we have tried to keep them in a manageable time frame. So we've tried to keep them where we get in, we hit the topics, and we get out. We realize and appreciate everyone taking time to join us every Thursday night and listen to us every Thursday night or afterwards if you catch it afterward on the podcast, which most people do actually. But we're trying to just keep it where we get to the point and you can sit and enjoy it and not think, oh, I got to take an hour and a half or an hour 15 to watch or listen to the whole show because life is busy. So that's one thing I want to highlight, and we'll try to do it again tonight. I do want to also recognize, as you see, my background is in honor of October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I'm going to keep that up all for October. I even keep that up for all my work calls and stuff like that. It's something I did last year, so I want to highlight that for all those breast cancer survivors out there. What's up, Mom? Twice. There you go. And everyone else that's out there, make sure you check yourself and all that. But anyways, no. So a lot's been going on. Like as always has been in our show and everything else. You really don't have to wait long, and somebody's gonna pop up with something. So, hot news, Toby. You may not be in Texas right now, but Tesla is moving to Texas.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, they
So
are moving
so
out of
I've
California.
I've been watching the construction of the Tesla plant. It's on a toll road that I use to get to the airport. So I
Right
go
there in
past it.
Austin, right?
Yeah, I go by it quite frequently, and it is huge. And when I say huge, it is one of the biggest things I've ever seen. Definitely construction undertaking. It's immense, but with it's coming 5,000 jobs and a huge boost to the local economy. So very happy to have it. We're happy to have not too far up the road near Waco. Uh,
Big boost to
is
traffic.
Yeah, there's going to be that. There's going to be that.
So
Airport, my airport run time is probably going to get dramatically changed.
yeah, yeah. Maybe you can get one like you're right by the factory and get one on a good deal or something like that. It's maybe get like
Yeah,
maybe like
wouldn't
an
that be nice?
outlet store, maybe scuffed up a little. You could just pick up a deal on.
No,
Uh,
there's a lot of them around. So
yeah, the best is
yeah,
when you see
actually know
one.
I actually know probably 4 or 5 people that have them. So
Yeah, they are definitely getting more popular.
yeah,
The funny thing is honestly to be driving down a highway and you see one on the side of the road and you're like, wow, it didn't charge your batteries, and it's getting pulled up on a tow truck. It's like somebody must have overextended themselves, right? But I've seen that a few times, and not sure. I did also see a Tesla at a gas station once. I don't know if I ever told you that story. I pulled up to get gas, and I looked over, and I was like, "That's you see the 18-inch monitor. That's the
yeah.
display." And I looked over and I peeked around the back, and he's like, "I know, right?" And he was filling a gas can for his mower. I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't know what was going on." I'm like, "I didn't know what was going
I was
on."
like, he couldn't. I was like, he probably couldn't find any parking up front, so he's like, "I'll just park here, like I'm getting gas."
But he looked. I was like, "Why is there a Tesla here?" And I looked back, and he's there, and he looked at me and kind of smiled. I'm like, "Yeah, it's the first time I've seen that. Right? You don't expect to
Uh,
see it there."
I just due to the environmentally conscious household I live in, we no longer have a naturally aspirated gas combustion engine lawnmower. We're all electric, and you know we are as a family looking at probably an electric vehicle in the near future.
Look at
The
you with your
just
zero footprint,
well,
man.
no, I have a big footprint because you know what they say.
So,
Uh,
well,
mucklucks, big mucklucks,
yeah,
bad hair.
bad
I think
hair.
that's what they
That's
say.
what they say.
I
I
think
think.
they say
Yeah, yeah. I was saying,
big
man, you
mucklucks,
may
bad hair.
AOC may be calling on you, to tell her to teach everyone else in Texas how to have a zero carbon footprint, and now you just got to get rid of
Uh,
those cows that produce methane gas, and she'd be your fan.
yeah, no, like how dare they?
Yeah. But
Like,
no, so a lot going on. So yeah, it's interesting on a Tesla. I know there was Google and Amazon. Austin is definitely like the Silicon Valley of Texas, or the South
mm,
Central. Charleston, South Carolina is starting to be called like the Silicon Valley of the Southeast. But traffic's pretty bad in Austin. I've spent a lot of time there, and I can't imagine another however many thousands of people that are coming there for that. That should be interesting. But yeah, interesting. Now they just got to find a way to wirelessly charge those Teslas as they drive down the road. If they could do that, they could do it for an iPhone. They should be able to figure out how to do it for a car. But and they'd be good to go. So let's see what's happening. Obviously, our president is always making news, and
oh
yeah. He's remember we thought he was going to be boring and we'd have nothing to talk about. Boy, did he prove us wrong or what?
man, like yes,
Yeah. He is not letting us down one bit. Hey mom, hey Charlie, everyone, Kaiser, everyone in the chat. Just want to give you guys a quick shout out. Yeah, so I don't know if you saw it or not, Toby. There was a picture that came about a week or so ago, and it was a picture of when the President Biden just got his booster shot. By the way,
yeah, yeah.
the booster shot that the FDA has said that has had people resign over, saying that we should not be putting this out and pushing it, but the president's still pushing it, which is kind of ironic, right? Because it seemed like about a year ago this time he was saying he was criticizing President Trump about not following the science and not believing the science. So now he has his FDA, some leaders in the FDA, scientists who went against the mantra of the White House about boosters. So I guess that follow the science only needed to happen until you get elected. But anyways, not the topic I want to cover, but something you should look into. So he had this picture, and he's getting just one thing. That dude's got a hairy arm. Remember he talked about. Remember when he talked about in the campaign how the kids like to wipe his hairy legs when he was a lifeguard or whatever at the pool. You got to go look at. If you haven't looked, go Google him getting this booster shot. That dude has got gorilla arm all over him. I mean, he has got. I mean, he's never cold. That dude's got a coat on. But anyways, he probably runs from Velcro. I think Velcro is no longer. The Secret Service probably banned it in the White House. But he's getting his picture, and when you saw it when it happened, it was like, okay, he looks like he's sitting in the Oval Office or somewhere like that, and it brings the nurse in and gives him a shot. Well, then his picture came about, and it looked like he was sitting on a soundstage, on a studio with like overhead lights and a boom mic down in the corner, and like the end of the stage, and then like some people, reporters, sitting out in like theater seats. And I remember a few people first, I was like, no way, conspiracy theorists, this is Photoshop, this is fake. And then it came out that no, that's what it is. And now that more photos have come out where he's done like these briefings with people, Secretary, his economic advisor Yellen, Department of Treasury Secretary, and a couple other folks where they're sitting like 6 feet apart. They're on the same stage now. Pictures are coming out from people that were off camera, off whatever stage, taking pictures where they have these beautiful, well lit, fake outside images against a fake window, so it looks like you're looking out into the rose garden. And he's talking to people, and they're all space. And it's a high end. It's lights. It's sound baffles. It's the whole thing. And ironically, what gets me, Toby, is it's over in the basement of the Eisenhower Building. And for those who don't know, the Eisenhower Building is the residence and office of the vice president. Someone that, well, I mean, haven't seen much of her, so maybe that's why she has some spare rooms. I don't know, because she doesn't seem to be doing much vice presidenting. She's not down at the border, I think, unless she's still looking for root causes of what's happening at the border, but she hasn't been there. So rather than do his photo shoots or have people come in the Oval Office, I would say, this is my opinion, Toby, how I feel, that is the most powerful office in the world. Like, you could have the greatest view. You have a great view in where you live. You could be on the top level of this biggest skyscraper in Singapore or anywhere, but it is by far the most powerful office is the Oval Office. And I cannot grasp why the president of the free world would walk his little butt like next door down into the basement and do all of his photo shoots and meetings there, when he has such a gorgeous, the Resolute desk, everything else, he's got pictures of communists or bust statues of communists now in his office and all that stuff. Why would he go across the street and do it? I'm having a hard time grasping it. I don't know if is there anything you could think of why he would do that? I really don't. I'm truly asking. I don't know. If anyone listening or watching wants to say what your opinions are in the chat, please do.
Yeah. So I saw the photos, and I myself just thought that it was, someone trying to stir the pot. And then the information came out that, yeah, this is a real thing. Because at first I was like, here we go, the moon flag,
Right.
And then it's like, no, this is actually a real thing. And I can't think of a reason other than security that you would conduct a meeting somewhere other than where it's intended to be conducted.
Do you think there's a security concern? Do you think there's a security concern at the White House?
Well, no. Yes. What I'm saying is, if you aren't holding the meeting where it's supposed to be held, you're doing that. The only reason I can think of is because of a security concern.
Right.
Now, I'm pretty confident that they've done a pretty good job over the years in past administrations, especially with the assassination of several presidents, that they got security.
They got that
kind of
tightened up.
dialed in.
Yeah, I would think so.
They got it kind of down. Now, every now and then, a drunk dude
jumps over the fence.
Will jump over the fence and run at some 85-pound girl. that probably shouldn't be standing alone on a post. But the you know I think they kind of have security dialed in. The fact that they've recreated a scene for me is what's troubling. If you're going to hold a meeting that is not in its intended place, for security purposes, then you just have the meeting.
I mean, even when the
I mean,
president, if you think
you
about,
go to the Situation Room, you don't make the Situation Room look like something other than what it is.
right, if you think back to
So like the
9/11,
fact that you're
yeah, if you think back to 9/11, President Bush was on Air Force One. They were keeping him in the air. I think he did a
yeah,
briefing, he did some stuff, but you knew he was in Air Force One, right? It was clear.
yeah,
It wasn't. They were. It wasn't like a fake
and
backdrop.
right, and any time you and I'm saying this with absolute sensitivities. Uh, anytime I've known someone to recreate a scene, it is for the comfort of the person uh, that is being surrounded by that environment. And when I and that's usually due to mental deficiency.
Mm.
And there's a lot of I have a really dear friend of mine experiencing this with a family member right now, and it's really sad. And my heart breaks for him and his wife and what they have to do. And like sometimes these memory care centers, they recreate
Right.
bedrooms
For
and homes
dementia
or
patients or
for
people. Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that they can feel more comfortable and they can feel more relaxed. um and so I can't think of a reason a, to recreate a scene or environment uh for a reason other than to make the person there feel more comfortable. uh, the fact that they're doing it at a second location, it just none of this makes sense.
No.
But I'm going to be honest with you. Uh, Nothing that this administration has done uh, has passed the fifth rule of patrolling, or the fifth principle of patrolling. And like
Choked me up there with
it
that
just
one. I didn't see that one coming.
like what that I bring out a little 7-8.
Yeah, yeah. I'm waiting for
You're
Shard.
welcome.
I'm waiting for Shard to come in the chat there and break that down for us. But
That's Shard will probably make a T-shirt about
he probably would.
it. Yeah, but I I really believe that this is problematic.
Right.
I believe that if the leader of the free world is not safe enough to conduct meetings or briefings and engage in something in a place other than a soundstage, something is amiss. Uh, I believe when you set the stage, and I'm using that figuratively and literally, I'm saying that purposefully. When you set the stage, it's because there's someone directing the players. It becomes theatrical.
Right.
It's theater. There's somebody directing, there's somebody producing, and there's somebody controlling the performance.
Well, I think a lot of
and
America feels that's what's happening right now, for sure.
Yeah,
right?
and this is one of those things. There was a lot of jokes during the campaign. There were a lot of jokes post campaign that they're keeping Biden in a basement, and he only makes appearances when he absolutely has to.
And now we find out he literally has been in the basement.
This is actual proof that this wasn't rumor or conjecture.
Right.
This was like they were kind of being honest.
And it's funny you mentioned about the director or calling the shots and producing and all that stuff. Again, at his own words, right? How many times has the president said, "I'm going to get in trouble for answering questions. I'm going to get in trouble for talking to you. I shouldn't be doing this." Right? That was the hot topic a week or two ago. Was several people, not everyone in the media, definitely, but several going, and those in Congress going, "Who's he talking about? Who's he going to get in trouble with?"
I mean, people were asking the Secretary of State that question. People were asking, the Mayorkas, Homeland Security, that question, like who is he afraid of, and who does he have to adjust his speech for?
Right.
And if he is conducting briefings and performing, uh, now there's a lot of friction. It's a real point of friction in terms of people with the the vaccination and mandates. You know, if the guy that's forcing you to get it is doing it on a stage like a performance, well, what what is the entirety of the performance?
Right.
Is,
Right.
is it real?
That's what people are saying when
Like,
he gets his booster shot, and it's like, well, was that fake? Was that just some saline? Was that a little IV? Like, what is it that he was getting? But, it's
no,
interesting,
I bet I'm confident what he got was the real thing.
right? But again,
Because I
if
mean, if anyone needs it, I mean, he's
he's up
definitely in a
there,
diminished
he's in a high
capacity.
risk. Well, he's in a
He,
high risk
he
category for sure.
he's exceptionally high risk, so I hope he got it.
Yeah.
But it just the optics of it are just so bad.
Right.
Like
Right.
w- again, it's just so hard. Everyone made comments about Trump and not being able to take his presidency seriously because he wasn't a president. He wasn't presidential. He wasn't a politician. Well, shit. Like if this is what the example of presidential is, it's like it's a little scary.
Well,
Like
I
it's
think
all
most people,
theatrical.
I think that's why Trump won is people didn't want that normal slick, fake president, right? And people, I don't care who you are. There's no way you could not. No one could ever argue against the fact that Trump was the most transparent president ever. He would come out for an outdoor press briefing and spend 2 hours there, just firing, answering questions. He didn't need teleprompter. No one was telling him not to answer, and he would just sit there and answer all. I mean, it became daytime hot like theater, right? It'd be daytime. It's like I remember when every day at 5, especially when COVID first happened, like I was tuning in. I was saying, who's he bringing on stage, right? It was like never in my life did I ever remember being so excited when we were kids and there were 3 channels on. I mean, when you turned on and saw the president was on, you just freaking fell backwards. Like, oh, there's nothing else to watch. Like the president's on. There was every channel. All 3 channels were sucked up with that some old dude talking, right? But even not as a kid, as an adult, never did I get excited over any president talking as I did President Trump. Now with him, you kind of get excited because you don't know what word he's going to make up when he says something, right? He
Yeah.
puts some things together, and so it's he kind of is exciting because you're like, what foot is he going to shove in his mouth today if he even doesn't just turn his back on the questions of a hot topic like
No, like
Afghanistan.
I, I was uh, I was a big fan of HW, and one of the reasons I was a big fan of George Hubert Walker Bush uh, me, was because he was so animated with his speech. Not gonna die, 1,000 points of light. He would say and do things, and Dana Carvey on
Oh,
Saturday Night
Dana
Live
Carvey had him
would
spot on. Yeah.
just slay. So much so that if you ever watch the documentary 41 on 41, a beautiful documentary, 41 famous people, and friends, family, and famous people of President 41, George Hubert Walker Bush, talk about it. George uh, Bush Sr. was such a fan of Dana Carvey's parody of him that he invited him and his wife to the White House, and he spent a weekend in the Lincoln bedroom. And they got time with the actual president. Like he admired the parody, he admired and then his son George W. Bush, man, that dude like strategery. He came out with some words like he kind of Mike Tysoned his way through a couple of press
Right.
briefings, and like you know, and that just shows.
Dr. Shoe, man, doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, like
But that's fine.
is he Ronnie
I wonder
Robinson?
to think back when he invited Dana Carvey up there. If it was me, if I was him, I'd be like, okay, do this one. Do me doing this. I bet he just sat there in the Oval Office and said, Dana, do me like yelling at people. Like I know if I had
Yeah,
someone that could impersonate me, I would just be rolling in laughter. Like,
yeah, no, especially that well,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
With that, which and the and part of that, ridicule is for fun. Part of it's to prove a point.
Right.
But it, I feel that if we ridicule Joe Biden, we're actually making fun of someone that can't defend themselves.
That's why people have said,
Uh,
even people on the far right have said they feel sorry for him, because it's almost.
yeah,
I remember when he was elected, I was like, this is elder abuse. Like, they're putting this guy out there. He's not. Does not have his wits about him. He just.
no, and then like the more and more I I witness things and I look at it and I try to be objective and I try to believe the best and think the best. I I really struggle because and I this guy's not set up for success. He's failing miserably. The people around him, he's clearly handled,
Right.
and
And not handled by the best people. Not handled
right.
by.
He's being handled in all the wrong ways.
Yeah.
He's being handled to protect his image and not talk, but they're not handling him with policy. HR McMaster just
Oh,
hit a home run. In terms of breaking down, and whether you're a fan of HR McMaster or not, one thing you can't deny is he's an exceptionally intelligent dude. One of the most, and when I say dude, I mean no disrespect, gentleman, former general officer. Like, guy is
I'm a
exceptional.
big HR fan. I got to meet him when he was a
One
one
of the
star.
most,
That dude's
yeah,
solid.
one of the most learned. Everyone talks about Mattis being like the warrior monk, and everyone talks about him in his intelligence, but yeah, McMaster's not one to be trifled with intelligence wise. He's an astute observer, and one of the reasons he's unpopular is he took all this historical data and information and he broke Vietnam down.
Yeah.
Like, he did one of the most accurate historical analysis of one of the greatest military involvements of our country. When I say greatest, I mean in terms of size and expanse and cost of human life. And he broke it down to the nuts and bolts, all the way down to the leadership nodes, all the way down to the leadership climates, the command climates.
Yeah.
I mean, it was dude's brilliant, and he just did a
And
swing.
and
He was like, "Oh,
that made him very
here's a
unpopular.
softball."
Yeah, that made him very unpopular with the higher general
Yeah,
officers at the time, and which
yeah,
caused him to sit at one star for a very long time. When he made 2 star, I
yeah.
was like, "Holy cow, maybe those old guys are retired." Then he made 3 star, and I was like, "Okay, they're all gone," because they were butthurt when he
Yeah,
did
yeah,
that. I
he
mean,
was not a fan.
no, not and he, but he wasn't shy. I mean, I don't know if it's a light comparison, but him and Stu Scheller, Lieutenant Colonel Scheller, aren't far apart except in their delivery method and their timing. Right, so the Marine Lieutenant Colonel just got released from the brig, who's now up on 6
Yeah,
charges. Right. Also, it's just that General McMaster kind of waited till well after and did it in a different approach than just cranking up a YouTube video. But but
yeah. No, like, we'll get to that gentleman here in a second, but McMaster did a quick analysis, and man, I can't find much wrong with it.
of Afghanistan, and
Of Afghanistan,
he went through multiple administrations. He
yeah,
criticized. Yeah, he was fair. Yeah.
yeah, and no, like, this wasn't what you would expect, like a partisan or political hit piece. No, like, he didn't pull any punches. He kind of, like you said, went at everyone, and I think he's absolutely right to call Afghanistan anything other than an utter failure is a disservice. Now, my agreement with that isn't any form of commentary on anyone that served there. Um, you know, People get sent to do things, and they do what they're told. The rank and file should be exceptionally proud of what they did, uh, but this was a leadership failure on so many levels. When
Yeah.
you look at the number of medals of honor that have come out of Afghanistan, and you read those citations, you watch The Outpost, you watch Sebastian Junger's Res Repo, or the documentary Korengal, and you just see failure after failure after failure in terms of leadership, and then you see just the utmost in gallantry and bravery, time and time and time again, that had to have been done.
And
It
Toby,
had to have
I
been
can
done.
Toby from the ground level, I
Yeah,
can tell you, witnessed it myself. Same thing,
yeah,
brave, awesome actions
yeah.
by fellow soldiers and other folks. But yes, failures in leadership, failures in judgment, misconstrued what they would consider goals of success, right? Of lines of success. It just, I mean, I've talked about it a number of times in here examples, but
Yeah.
it is,
No,
and
like
that was at
I
my level. I was a micro level for a year, and
yeah,
I saw it. And you talk about 20 years, and
yeah.
it just exasperated. So, but I just want to spin
No.
back real quick. We talked about President Biden. Just to clarify, his approval rating right now is 38% nationwide.
Oh,
38%.
really?
Yes,
That low?
that low. He is sinking. He's got a disapproval on the economy of around 60%. Or about one is 60, one is 56. One is immigration, and one is the economy. The disapproval of his handling is at one of them's at 56, one's at 60%. His nationwide approval is at 38%. This dude is spinning down in flames, and I don't. I mean, even the distraction of Afghanistan, if you would, wasn't enough, because obviously it just, I think it piled on and made it worse because it was handled so poorly. But I mean, he is 8 9 months in. I mean, this is not good on any front. It's one thing to have low approval ratings because the media pushes a narrative and outside, but we're talking, these are Quinnipiac polls. We're talking about polls that are typically been very friendly to the left, that have made sure they've picked the right people to poll, because polls can be skewed. They are seeing disapprovals going like they've never seen before. It's not a good place to be in the Biden administration, I think, right now as an employee.
Yeah, no, and or it's a great place to be because like you're
If you're the one
you're set up.
controlling him, yeah, you're the real
Yeah,
president, which is probably his chief, which I'm still convinced is Susan Rice and his chief of staff. I can't remember if it starts with a K or C, but those are pretty much, I think, the ones pulling the shots. They're the ones doing everything, because it ain't the VP. She's Never Neverland. I don't know what she's making YouTube videos for kids right now or something. But yeah, I just wanted to hit on that approval rating. That's pretty dismal for so.
no, no. It kind of took me by surprise when you said that. I'm trying to think of if I've ever heard of a president having something so low.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
most teeter around 50, and every now and then they dip below 50, and like that's catastrophic.
Yeah, this is
Um,
a Quinnipiac poll. 55% think he is not even competent in running the government. 55% in a Quinnipiac poll. So I mean, it is his
that's
approval of his of handling the economy is 39% of handling.
that that's actually pretty damning.
Yeah,
But man, the
it's like say
a lot. I can just Afghanistan's a failure. The southern border is a failure, and these aren't just failures; they're like humanitarian crises. And
so then we go on.
this is
Right. Then he goes on. He piles on. So he goes and visits a company today. About the vaccine and all that stuff, with a CEO that's super friendly with him, and so people are already looking at it. Is it a paid to play or whatever? It's like he went and visited them, gave them a lot of publicity. He's a big friend of his, and then he brags about pressuring a hospital, calling a hospital. Hey, this is the the emergency, White House switchboard. I got a call from the president, calling the hospital to help get a friend of his fast tracked through the emergency room because the emergency room is so crowded, right? So, usually
so you only get so many.
usually the emergency room people that triage you, they prioritize you
Uh,
based on the criticality of why you're in the emergency room, right? It's not. It could be crowded all day, but you come in with a severe amputation or a jugular bleeding out. They don't look at any other factor about you, anything about your demographics. They get you right back and work on you, right? So he called, and I think it's saying he called last. This happened last night. Hold on, I got a little static issue going here. I think he said it happened last night, where he called to get a good friend expedited through. Now, granted, you're the president. You can pull some favors, right? Granted, you're the president. There's definitely some stuff that you could be like, hey, can I get that table, right? I heard President Obama was the only one ever allowed to skip the line at Franklin's barbecue. I don't know if that's true, but I
That
heard.
is that is actually true.
Right. So
That
he's a
is true.
president. They let him up to the front, right?
But they ish. Uh, they let him cut the line only if he bought everyone he cut in line in front of their food.
Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't know that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. They know. Yeah, that was a baller move on
Yeah.
Franklin's part. No,
But I mean, you should pull some favors, but in an emergency room, it's
yeah,
kind of like, hey, my buddy stubbed his toe real bad. May have broke his binky toe. This is the president. Can we just get him up and get him out? You do me a solid here. I just I don't know, but it kind of goes along with the family, right? This whole Ukraine one, and little China pay to play and all that kind of. Maybe that's just the way they do business. I don't know. Maybe that's
maybe. But like in a second, I'm gonna have to go turn on a light. I realize that I'm gonna catch the sunset, and we're gonna go dark here real fast. But the you only get so many silver bullets in life, right? So we always joke about don't get in any trouble, save that that war card, like if you're gonna someone disrespects your daughter or something like that, save you only get so many silver bullets in life. Some dude called the president of the United States to shoot a silver bullet to get fast track to a freaking DR room. I mean, like who's that? Like,
because how does he know that? Someone had to put a call in, right?
That's what I'm saying. So like, honey, these sons of bitches, they're moving too slow. They don't know who I am. I'll show them.
There's sick people coughing all around me and stuff, and
like they don't think it's serious enough. They don't think it's serious enough. I'm gonna show them. Like, someone called the president of the United States.
Probably called Jill. So because who else is he gonna listen to, right? She probably ran in, honey, I need you to call this number and tell him that Bob.
Well, she's a doctor. She should be able to do it herself.
Doctor or something, but I don't think she's no doctor in no emergency room.
Yeah, but like
I gotta give a shout out real quick. I gotta give a shout out real quick to a former soldier with me, Paul Hernandez. Served with him for filling in for Rob, the producer tonight. Paul, thank you so much for telling us that Nixon and Carter got their approval ratings
right.
Went down to 24 and 28. So I think many have already called Biden worse than Carter, but right now he's only 10 points off of what Carter's low was, and Nixon was pretty much going to get impeached for Watergate, so he's only 14 points off of that. But he ain't got through a year. We ain't got to the first State of the Union yet, for God's sake. Haven't even got to the first White House Christmas tree ornament or the first turkey to be freaking pardoned, and this dude's already down at 38%. I mean,
well, maybe that'll help. Maybe he should pardon 10 turkeys.
If he pulls out a big butcher knife, says "F the pardon" and cuts his head off, that would probably get him a few points, right? Like, serve this dude up. That'd be baller.
I'm still like in shock that someone pulled the I know the president card.
Yeah. Do you know who I know? We don't care, sir. Yeah. There's this little kid with a compound fracture with a bone sticking out in front of you. Oh yeah, I'm gonna make a phone call, right?
Because obviously to have to get additional help at an ER, it's saying it wasn't that bad. Like, if he was in the lobby dying, like they'd have brought him in. It's like.
How do you get the number to that that hospital administrator so quick? Because you just can't call the hospital, get the front desk. You're going to get routed everywhere. You're never getting through anything.
He's got people.
He does, yeah. Probably dispatch or ATF over there.
Again, like quid pro quo. He loves saying these things like he's some kind of like mafioso. Like he's some kind of like.
I am. I'm the president. You got to take care of me.
Like, there's going to come a time where I'm going to need a favor, and it's going to be you calling this ER.
I got to get through and get back to my show. Hulu's on. I got to get back. I don't want to wait after these sick kids with broken arms.
It's Friday night. The new Ted Lasso's dropping. Come on.
That new Ted tonight's tomorrow is season finale. Tomorrow, season 2 finale.
Don't tell me.
Don't get me spun on my Ted Lasso.
I haven't seen a couple episodes, so don't ruin it.
I don't want to ruin it then. I don't want to ruin it.
All right, so let's circle back. because I
Okay,
want to talk
Jen
about this.
Psaki, circle back.
We're going to circle back because we actually will circle back when we say we're going to. Um, this Marine officer, I believe he was in a training battalion,
Yep.
leadership role, had a personal relationship with one of the Marines that was killed at HKIA, Herzog Kazan International Airport. For those of you not understanding what I meant by HKIA, and
I'm gonna
he
let you
uh,
go
he
for a second.
spoke out.
I gotta step away for a second. I'm gonna let you go
Yep,
with this. Okay.
and he spoke out. He did a YouTube video, and it I really disagree with what he did. Now, it I believe it takes moral courage to speak out when you know that there's something that your leadership is doing. You kind of make an oath that you'll do that um, as part of your enlistment, your commissioning. Uh, but there's a time and a place to voice grievance. Last year, during COVID, the captain of a naval vessel made some decisions based on what his experience as a leader was with COVID, and made some decisions that um, not everyone agreed with. And then, he kind of called out the chain of command to his people, which, you shouldn't do. And so I, I was, I watched that case closely, and I immediately thought of how this case was going to go. Different administration, however, similar thing in terms of speaking out against the administration, and them both being in the Department of the Navy. So one was a captain, a skipper of a aircraft carrier, which that's a lot of bodies on board, probably 5,000 under his leadership, versus this lieutenant colonel who probably at a training battalion has several hundred under his leadership. You, that's not how you speak out. That's not how you do it. You don't. And obviously, the internet, the interwebs, the Facebooks, the IG Live, what we're doing right now, like that's now a tool of the regular citizenry to put their voice out there, but that's not the tool of the Department of Defense membership base. It that it's not your place to make those comments publicly. Now, I get why he did it. He had a personal relationship. He was heartbroken. He was grieving. He was frustrated, like many, uh, and just really, really, you know, took a bold move. But man, you can't try your situation in a court of public opinion. And a guy that's been supporting him a lot is this former chief Navy SEAL Eddie Gallagher, who went to the brig, and went on trial, and his wife was his PR person, and they created quite the media storm. And every day it's like, why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? Uh, I if you speak out and you do that, and I have a little bit of experience with it. I made some comments on camera that I should not have made, and I suffered the consequences. Um, I did, like I was tired and frustrated. It was 4 a.m, been up for 2 days,
Had that
and
camera right in front of you. I think you're in the front seat of your
yeah,
vehicle. I remember
yeah,
that. I
and
remember
and
that.
yeah, and a civilian uh, told me that I needed to go put my guys back out, not let them rest, not let them eat, because they had a logistics mission that they felt was more important than our lives. And and I disagreed, and I said it on camera, and I should not have done that. that was not my place to do. So I'm not trying to be the pot calling the kettle black here. I'm saying from the experience and my perspective, and knowing that that's not the right way to do it. Um, like I hope he understands. Like he's gonna get hammered, and like it doesn't matter what you do in the court of public opinion. My situation was a little bit different, but like
Eddie Gallagher has got him crowdsourced up to $2 million so far for
yeah,
his legal defense fund. So, but it sounds like from one of his, I've watched all of his videos. I mean, I think the second or third one he said, his family left him, his wife left him. He knew she wasn't gonna be happy. She even knew he was gonna do that, and it sounds like his family bailed on him. Probably upset. I mean, I mean, to throw away 17
well,
years. I
he's
mean,
made their life horribly bad.
right, and
Like
and and they were with him, or by him for that. I mean, it wasn't. Let's be honest, right? It wasn't just him by himself for that whole time. The family's a key part of the military members' time, and that retirement and all those benefits and all that stuff. They all earned, right? I mean, they all did the deployments, and he had multiple deployments and everything. So I mean, he threw it all out there, and he was, I think, Paul said it in the chat, right? He was very passionate, or maybe him or Doug said it, but I mean, he was, and you and I both know this, Toby. There are right ways and wrong ways to do things, and sometimes we let our passion and we let being upset or whatever take over. And as soon as you say it, it wasn't the right way to do it. Right? We have that happen in your civilian side, not just military. It happens in the civilian side. Someone fired. They get fed up. They say something in an office or say something to someone that's not their normal demeanor. They were stressed, and they regret it later. But that doesn't always mean saying sorry doesn't always make it right, and doesn't. But obviously, this lieutenant colonel hasn't even done that. He has doubled down and stood strong. So, but he also said from the very get go that this was going to probably terminate his career. He was well. He was well in knowing that what he was doing was going to get him the outcome that he's gotten so
yeah,
far.
and that there's a little bit of martyrdom there, right?
Right.
When you open up like that, when you
Right.
make those statements.
But what's interesting
So
was, so he just got out of the brig. I'm going to transition here for a second.
okay,
He just got
all
out of
right.
the brig and was there for a few days. And ironically, sadly, I don't know how you'd want to say this. He was in there longer than the 18-year-old kid who shot up in Arlington, Texas high school yesterday. Because
Yeah, I heard that.
that kid, the word is on right now. We got right before the show started. He made bond $75,000 and put on an ankle bracelet, and he is at home, right? So he shot up, took a school into, I don't know what the laws are in New York or in Texas. I know what they are in New York to have a gun on school grounds. But he had a gun in there, got in a fight, got bullied, whatever. Happened to have a 45 caliber pistol with him and shot 4 people, including a teacher, in his school, and he's home already. Now you could say, oh, that doesn't compare, right? That you can't compare as Lieutenant Colonel. UCMJ, as we know, is much different than the civilian court system. But then we also have Kyle Rittenhouse, who has a $2 million bond, and he was the young man that shot people attacking him during the Kenosha, Wisconsin riots.
Yeah, self-defense.
Yeah, self-defense, well-placed
On
shots,
camera.
3 shots fired, 3 shots hit target, 100% accuracy. I just got to give him that.
Yeah.
He's got a $2 million bond. I think is still in jail. So obviously, not every court follows the same script, and judge follows the same thing. But I mean, it's just amazing that it's been 24 hours from when they are hauling out busloads and busloads of kids yesterday from a major high school. Arlington, Texas is not a small place.
No.
And thousands, hundreds of cops, ATF, FBI clearing room after room, and all of that done yesterday. And this kid's already back at the house.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. And I'm like mind blown actually by it because so one, he's 18, not at the legal age to own a pistol in the state of Texas. I believe that's kind of nationally.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
The second part is now it's not only is it a legal firearm, it's a legal firearm in a school zone, which is felonious.
I'm pretty sure that'd be a felony. It's a felony in New York to carry it on a state university grounds. So
Yeah, I and then to actually utilize it. So without the actual crimes, the attempted murder, mayhem, um, like without the actual act crimes, just like before, the crimes they committed before he even did any of that stuff, should be enough for him to not get a bond.
Right. You would think so. Yeah, yeah.
Like you would think that there wouldn't be a bond, and 75,000, so that equates to 7,500 in terms of bond. Um, you know, he, I mean,
Sure, mom and dad covered that. I mean, I saw the house could be out already without a little bit more time behind bars, as they probably investigated or did something, I would think. But yeah. Hey, the other thing, one more thing. I know we want to get wrapping up here because we told people we were trying to keep it short. But the other thing I wanted to hit on was this. Oh, where is? Oh man, I had it tip my tongue, ready to go. This there's something going on. We just had a submarine strike an object underwater, an unknown object, in down in the China Sea or somewhere out there. They're saying that it was USS, I think Cincinnati, a nuclear sub. Um, so like 10 or 11 sailors got hurt, and I'm just like,
oh,
I think there's more to this story, right? Submarines, big ocean, right? They even know where the other submarines are, and because it's where it's at over in the China Sea, I'm thinking we need to keep an eye on that because there's this news just came out. They just don't hit things. Like they know the mapped bottom of the ocean. They know where everything is. This just came out. Some sailors got hurt. We're hoping they're doing well. Nobody's hurt too bad. Man, Toby, you look tired.
the
you do, you've been
I'm
pushing
like,
hard.
I mean, that's some James Bond stuff, right?
Yeah,
Like when they
submarines,
bump into some like secret underground layer.
like some
Like
Doctor Evil kind of underground, like
that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
What does
like,
don't bump
where
into? You know,
I mean, I've watched Hunter Killer with Gerard Butler.
yeah,
I've
yeah,
seen Hunt for Red October.
exactly. They kind of ping each other. They
Das
know,
Boot,
they got guys with headphones on,
U
listening to
571.
listening to
There's some great,
turboprops and all that stuff. It's
yeah.
just
Like there's
something's
gotta,
there. Something's there. I don't
yeah.
know what it is.
There's definitely more, and it's nuclear. You said.
It's a nuclear sub. It's one of our nuclear submarines. Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Well, that's not good. Well, I hope everyone's okay. Man, I feel like I've been down in a hole.
yeah,
I need to get like spun up on more things. I apologize for being so unprepared.
it's all
I
right.
know we
You've
got
been
some good
busy.
shows lined up.
You've been busy.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna have Doctor Mike Simpson, Doctor Mike on here pretty soon. He's got a new book that dropped.
that's right.
I was talking.
Forged.
I was talking to someone the other day. They were like, "Oh yeah, I was listening to that show. I was listening to that interview you did with him, and I'm getting the book." And I was just talking to a friend that was like, "Yeah." So there's some people that tune in that know us that are all over that, and he got him coming on. Rob is lining up a number of folks. He's been trying to coordinate with us especially your busy schedule to get that happening. But we definitely have quite a few coming up.
Sorry.
Hey, we got lives to live, right? Hey, we would
Yeah.
love if this is all we had. If this paid the bills, if like we could just do this show and we had advertisers, just dropping 50, 100 grand per minute to advertise on, we would just we'd
Yeah.
run 24/7. I mean, we'd talk about till we couldn't talk anymore. But
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's all self-funded. But want to definitely give a shout out to our sponsors and Listen 9 Fight Company, BlueHammer.com, Commodity Outdoor Development Group, Veteran Outdoors, Gear for Grunts, and of course Alpha Elite Performance. Get that Alpha Elite 15, get that 15% discount. Telling you,
That's
Stu and the
right.
Nunn sent you, and good stuff. We are not only sponsors of the show, we are big users of the product too. Was on my pipe hitter this morning when I was at the gym. So
Some of mine got confiscated on my way here, but
really,
I'll be all right.
they took it on the way in there. I thought they only cared about stuff coming
Yeah.
out of Mexico, not going into Mexico.
No. Sometimes they care about what's going in.
Man, that stuff is
Sometimes.
that's almost yeah. You
Sometimes.
don't want to do that, but yeah. Toby, want to get wrapped up. Anything else you have for tonight?
No, sir. That's it.
Okay.
I hope everyone stays safe and stay
Yeah.
free and pay attention. Pay attention because things are changing in front of us. when you got the DOJ trying to list parents as domestic terrorists for speaking out at school board meetings.
The school boards that they vote. The school boards that they vote in. Right.
Yeah, they're that's starting to take a turn in a weird direction. So be vigilant. Be vigilant.
Yeah, that's there's things happening in this country every day that just a mere few years ago we would been saying there's no way. Well, literally, I mean, 2019 earlier, what we've seen this country do since COVID has hit, people couldn't even fathom that we would take these kind of steps would be happening. You know, firing thousands of healthcare workers, teachers, airline employees because they didn't get a symptom shot. I called it a symptom shot months ago, still call it a symptom shot. I think people realize why, because it ain't keeping anybody from getting the flicking virus. So, we would never have seen this kind of stuff going on. So, yeah, like you said, pay attention, look at all the sources. Just don't watch the talking heads on at 6 and 10. There's a lot more people to do your investigation. So, with that being said, we'll let you all go tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you go back and check out Vincent Vargas Rocco's interview last week. We're going to be having Scott Mann on again coming up too. You know, he's from Pineapple Express, which became very infamous during the whole Afghanistan HK evacuation. In addition to some, we also just had, how did I forget, Robo on, right? From Save Our Allies. I think we may be working on Tim to get him on. And so we got a lot of stuff happening. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in on this Thursday night, for joining us and listening and watching, or for those tuning in afterwards. We hope you guys do stay safe out there, and we will see you guys next Thursday. Everyone have a good night. Well, that wraps up another episode of the Stu and the Nunn Show, and we hope you had as much fun listening to it as we did hosting it for you. Don't forget to like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter. You can find all these links at stewandthenunn.com. We will talk to you again next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Also, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Commodity Outdoors, Veteran Outdoors, Enlisted 9 Fight Company, Warrior Media Solutions, and BooHammer.com. Thank you again, and have a good night.